Hello friends, Shalom. Today I'm going to give you a quick overview of the program upgrade that we made in 2022 so you can know what to expect after your panel. Our goal, ambition for your life is that you would flourish, not just survive. The truth is that most of the men and women who come in here to the Gospel Rescue Mission are masters of survival. They can accomplish a lot of things with a very little amount of resources, but we believe that there's more to life than that. And so we encourage you to flourish. And by flourishing, we mean that you become God dependent, contributing assets to our community. That is our goal, our intention for your lives. Hopefully you want to participate in that because we believe that we need to do this work with you, not to you, not for you, but with you, so that way you can truly flourish. This is a kind of a small picture of what we're trying to do here is that you are typically here on the left. The blue circle there is all of you. For many, they have this little bit of them that's the addiction, and that has expanded in their lives to include some dysfunction. And then part of all of us is those imperfections. And as most programs, they focus in on this side over here where they're talking about addiction. They're focusing on that side. But we believe that you are much more than that. You are coming from this angle. You are created in the image of God. You have great purpose. We want to focus in on that. What are the skills you already have? What are the abilities that you have? Who are you really? That is really what we're aiming for, is focusing in on who you really are, your identity. You are not an addict. We don't serve addicts here at the Gospel Rescue Mission. We serve men and women who sometimes have struggled with addiction, but they are not addicts. That's a term I don't really care for. We don't serve felons here at the Gospel Rescue Mission. We serve those who maybe have felonies on their record. We don't serve people who are disabled. We serve people with disabilities, but they're not disabled. There is so much more to you than the small little picture of addiction or dysfunction or even your imperfections. So we focus in on the bigger part of the circle and knowing that if you're living up to your identity, who you really are, your imperfections will shrink, the dysfunctions in your life will shrink, and your addictions will shrink because we're focusing in on that left side of the circle there. So some basic principles before I tell you all about the program and how it works is, first of all, affiliation. We want to try to solve the problems at the smallest possible circle we can. So we're going to talk more about that here in a minute. We're talking about bonding, connecting. We're talking about categorization. This categorization is not a bad thing. It helps us to serve you more faithfully to where you're at in your life currently. We also are going to have to use some discernment because it is tough to know what is best. And so we need to kind of watch, listen, and be part of that. We'll talk about our exchange program. It is dehumanizing, treating you like children, saying we just need to give you everything. That's what we do to children. In exchange, the adult works, they receive. So you'll see our exchange program is honoring you by allowing you to participate in your care here at the Gospel Rescue Mission. One of our ultimate goals, if you're going to be an asset to the community, is you cannot be taking from the community. Because when you take for the community, they limit where you can live, who you can hang out with. They do a lot of limiting, and you may not even notice it. You may not even be aware because it's been so subtle. We want you to experience freedom. And ultimately, we know at the Gospel Rescue Mission, one of our verses that we use to focus in on who we are is Micah 6:8. Says, He has showed you, O man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you, but to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. We must have a relationship with God if we are going to truly have a long-term advantage and move forward with our lives. So let's talk the details here. This is the overall program. You can see all this. We have the different categorizations. We have entitled to relief. We'll talk more about that. In need of a challenge. That's what most people come to the mission are going to be experiencing. We have some of those who have dealt with a lot of things in their past. They're just in need of some work. And then some of them are just going to need tough love. And we'll talk about that here in a moment. So let me point out before we go into this categorization a little bit about affiliation. Now, if you can think about yourself, you are the safety net for your own lives. Your character, your virtue, by building that into yourself, will become a safety net for you when you're doing everything right. When that expands out a little bit, you have family. So if there's possible, we're going to work with you to try to restore relationship with your family. And then beyond that, the next circle out of of your safety net needs to be the local church. If you don't have a healthy family, if they're abusive or hurtful or it's just not doable at this point, we're going to help you build a relationship with that family. And then only after you've expanded and done everything with your church family and everything that can be done, then maybe you go to the local government, state government, federal government, UN, whatever is necessary. So let's talk a little bit more about some of these categories. The first one is entitled to relief. Now, these are people who absolutely need something more intense than we're going to offer here. So if you actually fit in this category, you're not going to be here very long. You will not spend much time going through panel and all those other things. You are better suited to a nursing home or a residential treatment of some type. This is very few people, but we're going to help you get into those services that you actually need versus just trying to duct tape your life together. So those are on panel. If you've already been through panel, you kind of know this already. But all those coming to the panels must actually apply. So I would like to go forward. This is just like getting a job, getting your housing. You have to actually put in the application. All those coming to the panel must come dressed for success, ready, as if they were looking for a job. You're looking to change your life? Show it by the way you dress. Prove it to me. And then all must answer the question, am I willing to do whatever it takes to live and become an asset to our community? That's what we're looking for in the panel. If you somehow fool the panel and that's not really your intention, you might want to start making plans for your next stay somewhere else because discernment will come into play and we will catch on that you are just here checking the box. We really want you to have a new life. We really believe that you are capable of a good and better life. So the category that some will fall into is in need of work. That means they have no addictions. They have no issue with government funding. They're not planning on getting government funding. They have no other concerns that would keep them from having a good career sort of job, not just a paycheck, but something more than that. Working to make connections with their family and church and building up those safety nets behind you that you get to work on. And then I'll tell you more about what this looks like later. But if you fit this category, we're going to move you directly to promote you widely so you can get that great job, restore your family, and all sorts of great things. We are going to become your biggest fans, and we're going to work together with our community to help support you. We'll talk more about that shortly. So now the category that most of you watching this video would fall into is in need of a challenge. We're going to work with you to begin rebuilding connections to a family or a church, helping you build that safety net. You'll have an assessment. That assessment will be done by a staff member, so you've passed panel. You'll have the assessment. We're going to look at everything in your life: physical, mental, spiritual, social, debt, criminal history, mental health history, you name it. We're looking at it so we can help serve you. Now, the more honest you are, the more we're actually able to help you. So honesty is going to be in your benefit in this category. It's not because we want to judge you. We want to help you succeed and move forward with your life. And with that assessment, they'll do a personal SWOT, which is looking at your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats as part of that process. And using the assessment plus the SWOT, we are going to put that together, and we are going to build a contract that will help you out for the course of the next month. So definitely want you to be part of all that. All right. Now, as some of those contracts, most of them are very personalized, and they'll continue to be personalized all the way through your stay here. You'll have about 5 or 6 contracts, maybe more, depending on how long you need to stay here. But there will be 3 challenge contracts along the way. The first one will be that you're going to take no under-table employment. You will pay a big price at the end of your life when you're looking to get Social Security, but you haven't paid into it. All those sort of things. We do not accept no under the table employment after a certain point once you do that challenge contract. The next challenge contract is going to be quit smoking. Going to help you break that habit. Well, we have a booklet we'll give you to help you work through that process. We are, again, doing this with you. We're not doing it to you. But if you can quit smoking, it's going to make you more effective in the community. It will also give you a great deal of funding. So we work with one gentleman here who could actually pay his rent by just quitting smoking. And then the big one that we're going to have you do about 6 months into your stay is to have you drop all government funding. Walk away from Uncle Sam. He is enslaving people across the country. We want to set people free. And Quick note for those who are planning on leaving as soon as you get to the quit smoking one. When you come back, that's your first contract. If you play that game, they're dropping the government funding. If you leave and you're coming back, that's the first one you're gonna do. So you won't get 6 months again. You're gonna get just weeks or months depending on when you left in your last contract. So let's make sure that you're really doing what you need to do to change your life. So some of the basics, assessment, in contract one, I've kind of touched on this already. We're going to do a SWOT. Some of the things that you will see most likely on your first contract is if you don't have an ID, we're going to require that. We're going to help you do everything you can to get it. We're going to push you into addiction recovery if that's a need. We're going to push into literacy if you need that. Don't be embarrassed or ashamed if you cannot read very well. We have contact with resource and community that will help you with that. Our goal, our purpose is to help you also grow spiritually. That would be part of your contract. We're going to help you learn and address your health issues. And we're going to help you make and attend appointments with Green Country. If you have mental health challenges, need some help from them, we're happy to do that. And we're also going to talk about some basic manners. These are some basic things like please and thank you, by not interrupting. We have a thing where we have classes and people come in and say, I need a sign-in sheet, interrupting all the class because they're worried about signing their name on a little piece of paper. If you're late, you're late. You need to be on time for everything. So we're going to be working on manners that will become part of a contract. Okay, that exchange program. As you're staying here, you'll be part of a work start program. There's 4 different ones. You'll be assigned to one. Even if you have a full-time job, you'll still be assigned to a work start program. Now, you're going to have to earn your rent and clothing, toiletries, and that's all in exchange. By doing the work start, excuse me, you would have at least 6 hours a week in order to pay for your room and board. If you want toiletries, you're going to have to work a little bit more. If you're going to want more clothing, you're going to have to do that at that point as well. At this point, also, once you start the exchange program, we're going to give you a proof of homelessness letter so you can get a government phone or whatever else you might need to help you get started and move forward with that. Also, a quick note, if you don't make enough in your work start, if you don't work enough hours, that next week you will be exited. Contract or no contract, you need to do your work start at least 6 hours to pay for your room and board every single week. So if you get fired from that work start program, understand that may mean that you're going to be out on the streets again. I'm going to help you do that in a better way. Just a quick review of those challenge contracts that I mentioned. No under the table jobs. We will make a few exceptions for those still working toward getting their ID. There's a few exceptions with that. And basic contracts are going to continue to be in play. And we're going to continue to monitor that. You're not going to be able to miss classes, not going to be able to be late. Everything you do, you're going to have to be on track and not taking those under the table jobs. Second challenge grant contract when you get there is no smoking or vaping. No tobacco. We will confirm with a nicotine test. So even if you're doing the gum, chew, whatever it might be, that will show up as a nicotine positive, and then you would be exited at that contract when that time comes up. Now, contract 5, you got 5 weeks. You're going to have to pass that nicotine test at that point. So at that point, you've been here about 22 weeks. We've given you lots of time to get off that tobacco because it is hurting you, it is making you sick, it is making you more susceptible to illnesses, all those sort of things. We're also going to do a quick reminder to you at that point, you're at week 22, you're getting closer, so you need to have a plan in place so that way you can get by without that government funding. Challenge contract number 3 is that one, voluntarily drop all government funding. When you make that declaration and you begin to live that life, you're going to fill out a wardrobe document. And we are going to connect you with a personal marketing team. That wardrobe document, shoes, socks, undergarments, pants, shirt, dresses, whatever is appropriate for you, whatever sort of clothes you're going to do, we're going to put out through our social media. Our marketing team is going to market you. We're going to get you brand new clothing from top to bottom. You might have a hat, you might have everything down top to bottom, making sure you get the best as out there. You place your order, put it on a wish list, and people in our community are going to partner with you to help you be successful. And that brings me to our wildly promote concept. These are our guests who are ready they are going to need work. They're moving forward. We're going to record portions of your job interview. We're going to do a mock interview so that way the possible employers already hear your answers. We're going to be mailing your resume to donors and saying, hey, if you know anybody that can hire this person, this is what they got. This is their ability. We're going to interview with your work start supervisor. They're going to talk good about you, talk about all the great work that you've been doing, all the things that you've grown and done. We're going to highlight the fact that you've given up those under-the-table jobs, you've given up smoking, you're willing to give up Uncle Sam's money, so that way we as a community can partner together to help you succeed. So that is our upgraded panel, our upgraded program here at the Gospel Rescue Mission. If you have questions, please see me as soon as you get an opportunity.